For this tutorial, I will be using Caron Simply Soft yarn in soft pink. Now, the recommended hook size for Caron Simply Soft is usually 5.5 millimeters, but because I want a very tight stitch, I'm going to use a much smaller hook. This is a 3.75 millimeter hook from Loops and Threads. Nothing fancy, but I do really like the length of these Loops and Threads aluminum hooks, so I have a lot of them. We'll start with a slip knot, so cross the yarn over itself, grab the piece underneath and pull it through the loop. Place the loop on your hook, and now we are going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With this chain of 6, we're going to slip stitch into the first chain to make a loop. And there is your loop. We're going to be working into this loop in the round to make the scalloped circle. To start round 1, we are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This chain of 3 is going to count as a double crochet. It is obviously not a double crochet, but we're going to bookmark it in our mind as if it is a double crochet. Now what we're going to do is place 23 more double crochets right into the center of the loop you just made. I'm also going to work over the tail to avoid some weaving in at the end. So 23 double crochets into the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. If you need to scoot your stitches over a little bit so they all fit, do it now. 21, 22, 23. And to finish this round, we are going to slip stitch into the third chain of that first chain 3 you made. So 1, 2, 3, we're going to slip stitch right into the top of that chain. And that is round 1. You should have something that looks a little bit like this. To start the second round, we're going to chain 5. So the first 3 of those chains are going to count as if they are double crochet, and then we're going to chain 2, so that's chain of 5 to start. And we're going to double crochet right back into that same spot at the base of that chain 5 where you just slip stitch. So we're going to place a double crochet right into that base stitch. And what you have now is you have a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Now we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and we're going to double crochet into the following stitch. Now we're going to chain 2, double crochet back into that same stitch that you just worked into. We're creating a V stitch basically. Now we're going to chain 1, skip 2 stitches, and double crochet into the following stitch. Again, chain 2, double crochet back into the same stitch you just worked into, chain 1. So what we're doing is we're doing a V-stitch, so double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, then we're chaining 1, skipping 2, and doing it all over again. We're going to do this all the way around, so let's do a few more together. So we've just chained 1, we're going to skip 2, 1, 2, double crochet into the following stitch, chain 2, double crochet back into the same stitch, chain 1, skip 2 stitches, double crochet into the following stitch, chain 2, double crochet back into that same stitch, chain 1, skip 2 stitches, double crochet into the following stitch, chain 2, double crochet back into the same stitch, chain 1, skip the next 2 stitches, double crochet into the following stitch, chain 2, double crochet into the same stitch, chain 1, skip 2 stitches, double crochet into the following stitch, chain 2, double crochet back into the same stitch, chain 1, and if you skip 2 stitches, you are back at the beginning, and what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the third chain of the first 5 chains you made. So 1, 2, 3, we're going to slip stitch into that third chain. And that is the end of round 2. So you should have something that looks a little bit like this. To start round 3, we're going to slip stitch into that chain 2 space right here. So right next to where your hook is, we're going to slip stitch directly into that chain 2 space because we're going to be working into that chain 2 space to start. So to start, we're going to chain 3. That counts as if it's a double crochet, and we're going to work another double crochet directly into that chain 2 space. Now we're going to chain 2 and work 2 more double crochets into the same chain 2 space. 1, 2. So you should have something that looks a little bit like this. Now we're going to find the single crochet space next to, so this one right next to the one you just worked into, that's a single crochet, there's a chain at the top, so that's a chain 1 space. And we're going to single crochet into that space. The next space is a chain 2 space, and we're going to place 2 double crochets into that chain 2 space, directly into the space, and we're going to chain 2, and we're going to go back into that same chain 2 space with 2 more double crochets. The space right next to that space is a chain 1 space, and we're going to place a single crochet directly into that chain 1 space. We're going to go all the way around like that. So in the next chain space is a chain 2 space. We're going to place 2 double crochets, 1, 2, chain 2, and 2 double crochets, all in that chain 2 space. The space next to it is a chain 1 space. We're going to place a single crochet into the chain 1 space. The next space is a chain 2 space. We're going to place 2 double crochets, 1, 2, chain 2, and 2 double crochets, all in that chain 2 space. The next space is a chain 1 space, so that's a single crochet right into that chain 1 space. The following space is a chain 2 space, so again, repeat, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. The next space is a chain 1 space, so that's a single crochet. Next space is a chain 2 space, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. The next space is a chain 1 space, so we're placing a single crochet. The next space is a chain 2 space, so 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets in that same space. In the next chain 1 space, 1 single crochet. In the next chain 2 space, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and we should have one more chain 1 space. We're going to place a single crochet, and now we're going to find the third chain in that chain you made when you started the row. We're going to slip stitch into the top of that third chain just to close out this round. The end of round 3, you should have something that looks like this. It is really taking shape. Round 4 is the last round in the scallop circle, and how we're going to start is we want to get into that chain 2 space here because that's where we're working first. So we're going to slip stitch over there, stitch by stitch. So we're going to place a slip stitch in the stitch next to where we are, and then we're going to slip stitch into that chain 2 space, which we're going to start working there. Now we're going to chain 3. Again, this chain 3 counts as if it's a double crochet to start your row, and we're going to place 2 more double crochets right into that same chain 2 space. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. Now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to place 3 more double crochets right into that chain 2 space. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets. Now, this is a little bit hard to describe, but what we're going to do next is we're going to find that single crochet that is right in between those 2 petals, those 2 peaks that we did in the previous row. So mine is right here, if you can see. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a single crochet in the stitch right before that single crochet from the previous row. So in the stitch before it, I'm going to place a single crochet. I'm actually going to skip over the single crochet in the previous row, and I'm going to place a single crochet in the stitch right after it. Now I'm going to work directly into the next chain 2 space right here. So into that chain 2 space, I'm going to place 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 3 double crochets. And again, we are at the next in-between spot. So we're going to find that single crochet in the previous row, which is right in the middle at the lowest point. We're going to put 1 single crochet in the stitch before it and 1 single crochet in the stitch right after it. Now we're going to find the next chain 2 space and work directly into that with 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. Next, we're going to repeat what we've done in the previous 3 scalloped edges. We're going to find that single crochet in the previous row and place a single crochet in the stitch right before it and a single crochet in the stitch right after it. Now we're going to find the next chain 2 space, place 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and 3 more double crochets, all in that chain 2 space. Find the next single crochet in the previous row, place a single crochet in the stitch right before it, and a single crochet in the stitch right after it. Now in the next chain 2 space, we're going to place 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, all in that chain 2 space. We have 3 more to go. So find that next single crochet at the bottom in between those 2 scalloped edges in the previous row. Place a single crochet in the stitch right before it, a single crochet in the stitch right after it, and in the next chain 2 space, we're going to place 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, all in that same chain 2 space. Now in the stitch right before the single crochet in the previous row, we're going to place 1 single crochet, and in the stitch right after the single crochet in the previous row, we're going to place 1 single crochet. And in the next chain 2 space, you guessed it, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and before the next single crochet, place a single crochet in the stitch before and a single crochet in the stitch right after. In the next chain 2 space, which is the final chain 2 space, we're going to place 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, place a single crochet in the stitch before the single crochet in the previous row, and 1 single crochet in the stitch right after. And to finish this 4th row and this motif, we're going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain in the first chain 3 we did in this row. And we're going to fasten off. And there you have a really pretty motif that is a little bit festive. The detail is really beautiful. If you make it in a cotton or in a yarn that is not that slippery, I think it would make a really pretty coaster. And I did try to join some of them in like a very clumsy way, obviously with no color planning, so don't judge my color coordination here. I was just doing it with some scrap yarn just to see what it would look like. But it does join pretty easily because you can join as you go using those chain 1s at the peak of the outer scallops. So it's pretty easy to join as you go. Do not do it this way. It's very hodgepodge, not ideal, but there are lots of projects you can do with this very pretty scallop pattern, and it is such an easy 4-row motif. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.